The first bullet tore through Wyatt Sullivan's hat as he dove behind the water trough. Two more shots splintered the wood above him. Blood pounded in his ears as he drew his Colt Peacemaker in one fluid motion. The same movement that had saved his life a dozen times in his 42 years. The approaching stagecoach lurched wildly through the billowing dust, the driver frantically whipping the team as more gunfire erupted from the ridge beyond. "Hell of a way to meet a mail-order bride," Wyatt muttered, squeezing off a return shot that sent a distant rifleman scrambling for cover. The stagecoach careened into the Wyoming station, horses foaming and wild-eyed. The driver yanked the reins hard, nearly toppling the vehicle. "Road agents!" the driver shouted, blood streaming from a graze on his shoulder. "Three men hit us 5 miles back. Been chasing us since." Wyatt's gaze darted to the horizon. He'd been standing at this godforsaken platform for 2 hours, waiting for a Philadelphia woman named Margaret Stevens, who'd written him beautiful letters for 8 months straight. Letters that had kept him sane through the endless winter nights when memories of his dead wife and son threatened to drown him in whiskey and regret. "Isaiah!" Wyatt called out. "We got trouble." Isaiah Jones emerged from his general store, Springfield rifle already shouldered. The former Buffalo soldier moved with the same precision that had made him legendary at Gettysburg, his one good eye narrowing as he assessed the situation. "I count 3 riders," Isaiah confirmed calmly. 200 yards in closing. The stagecoach door flew open, but instead of Margaret's promised blonde hair and blue eyes, a small Chinese woman scrambled onto the platform. She wore practical traveling clothes stained with dust and what looked suspiciously like blood. Her dark eyes scanned the horizon with the alertness of prey that knows it's being hunted. Clutched against her chest was a wooden box bound with leather straps. "Ma'am," Wyatt tipped his hat reflexively, confusion battling with the instinct to get her to safety. "You're not who I was expecting." Another shot kicked up dirt at his feet. Wyatt grabbed the woman's arm and pulled her behind the water trough as Isaiah returned fire with his Springfield, the heavy caliber round finding its mark. One distant rider tumbled from his horse. "Get inside," Wyatt ordered, pushing the woman toward Isaiah's store. "We'll sort this out after we're not being shot at." The woman resisted, clutching her box tighter while frantically pulling a paper from her pocket. She pointed to herself. "Mei Lin." Then she jabbed her finger at the paper where Western letters spelled Robert Hayes and Pine Creek. "Wrong place, wrong person," the stagecoach driver shouted, already abandoning his coach for better cover. "She's got trouble following her." "Those ain't ordinary bandits." Another volley of shots forced them all to duck. Wyatt caught a glimpse of the woman, Mei Lin, wincing in pain as she pressed her arm against her side. "You're hurt," he said, noticing the dark stains spreading across her ribs. She shook her head sharply, but her face had gone pale. "I don't know what in tarnation is happening," Wyatt said, "but we need to get you inside." When she tried to stand, her knees buckled. Wyatt caught her before she fell, one arm around her waist. His hand came away wet with blood. "Isaiah, she's been cut bad." With the riders momentarily driven back by Isaiah's accurate fire, Wyatt half-carried Mei Lin into the store. The wooden box never left her grip. "Knife wound," Isaiah confirmed after they'd laid her on a cot in the back room. "Clean cut, deliberate, someone tried to gut her." "Who the hell is she?" Wyatt asked as Isaiah cleaned and bandaged the wound with practiced hands. "And why is she carrying papers for Pine Creek? That's 100 miles north." "Hayes is that banker up there," Isaiah replied. "Been advertising for a wife in those Eastern papers same as you." Mei Lin watched them with wary eyes, understanding nothing but the tone of their voices. When Isaiah finished, she sat up slowly, bowed in thanks, and retrieved her wooden box. Through the window, Wyatt saw the remaining 2 riders approach the station more cautiously now, dismounting behind the abandoned stagecoach. "They're coming in," he warned, "and they ain't giving up." The door to the store banged open. A man in an expensive duster strode in, silver-plated Remington in hand. A sheriff's badge glinted on his vest, too shiny, like it had never seen real work. Behind him, a second man with a pockmarked face kept a shotgun trained on the doorway. Marcus Blackwell, Isaiah muttered under his breath, calls himself sheriff over in Silver Creek. Mean as a rattler and twice as likely to strike without warning. Blackwell's cold eyes surveyed the room before settling on Mei Lin. A smile that never reached his eyes spread across his face. Well now, he drawled, seems I've found what I'm looking for. That Chinese woman is wanted for theft. Stole near $3,000 in gold coins from Silver Creek Bank 2 days back. Wyatt didn't move from where he stood in front of Mei Lin, noting the fresh scratches on Blackwell's knuckles. 4 parallel lines, like fingernail marks. His gaze flickered to Mei Lin's hands, seeing the broken nails and defensive wounds. Funny thing, Blackwell, Wyatt said, keeping his voice conversational while his hand hovered near his Colt. I was in Silver Creek 3 days ago, picking up winter supplies. Bank seemed just fine. No talk of any robbery. Blackwell's smile tightened. News travels slow. Not that slow, Wyatt countered. And Silver Creek to here is a 3-day ride minimum. How'd she manage to rob a bank 2 days ago and be here now? Mei Lin, sensing the growing tension, suddenly stepped forward. She opened her box just enough for Wyatt to see inside. Gold coins nested in silk cloths, each section marked with Chinese characters on small paper tags. Not loose coins thrown together during a robbery, but carefully organized family savings. That's a dowry, Wyatt said, realization dawning. Not stolen money. The second man shifted nervously, but Blackwell's face hardened. Step aside, Sullivan, he ordered, his Remington now pointed at Wyatt's chest. This doesn't concern you. Seems it does now, Wyatt replied, not budging. You got a real badge, Blackwell? Or just something you pulled off a dead man? The question hit its mark. Rage flashed across Blackwell's face. You questioning my authority? I'm questioning why a real lawman would chase a woman with a knife wound, matching the scratches on your knuckles, Wyatt replied. Men like you are why the real West needs real men. Everything happened at once. Blackwell's Remington came up, but Wyatt's Colt cleared leather in a heartbeat, a movement practiced 1,000 times during sleepless nights. His first shot struck Blackwell's gun, sending it spinning from his grip along with 2 of his fingers. Blackwell screamed in pain as Mei Lin hurled her box toward the counter, gold coins scattering across the floorboards. The distraction was enough for Wyatt to tackle her behind a barrel of flour as the second man's shotgun roared, pellets shredding the wall where they'd stood. Isaiah Springfield spoke from behind the counter, the heavy round catching the shotgun wielder square in the chest. He dropped without a sound. Blackwell scrambled for cover, drawing a hideout pistol from his boot. He fired wildly, shattering glass and splintering wood. 15 years in this godforsaken territory, Wyatt shouted over the gunfire, and I've buried everyone I ever loved. You think I'm afraid of dying today? He rolled to the edge of his cover, took careful aim, and fired twice. The first round caught Blackwell in the shoulder, spinning him backward. The second shattered his kneecap, dropping him to the floor with a howl of pain. Silence fell, broken only by Blackwell's whimpering and the distant sound of approaching hoofbeats, many horses coming fast. More trouble, Isaiah warned, reloading his Springfield. It's always more trouble, Wyatt replied, the weariness of a hard life evident in his voice. He turned to Mei Lin, who was gathering her scattered coins with trembling hands. I don't know what you're mixed up in, but I've had my fill of other people's problems. The words tasted like a lie even as he said them. 5 years ago, he might have meant it, when the diphtheria took his boy first, then his wife 3 days later, leaving him alone in a house built for a family. He'd watched helplessly as they slipped away. his strength and skill with a gun useless against an enemy he couldn't shoot. Before Mei Lin could respond, the thunder of hooves stopped outside. The door burst open, and 5 Chinese men entered, weapons at the ready. They moved with military precision, surrounding the wounded Blackwell. Their leader, tall with a bearing that suggested authority, approached Wyatt with cautious respect. "Lower your weapon," he said in perfect, slightly accented English. "We mean no harm to those who have helped my sister." Wyatt kept his Colt level. "Your sister?" Mei Lin stepped forward, speaking rapidly in Chinese to the newcomer. Relief washed over her face as they exchanged words. "I am Zhang Wei," the man said, turning back to Wyatt and Isaiah. "You have my deepest gratitude for protecting Mei Lin." "She said she was headed to Pine Creek," Wyatt replied, slowly lowering his gun but keeping it ready, "to marry a banker named Hayes." Zhang Wei shook his head. "There is no Robert Hayes. That was a name we created, an address invented to give my sister a reason to travel this route safely." "Then why is she here?" Wyatt demanded, the old familiar anger rising in his chest. He'd spent months preparing for Margaret's arrival, fixing up the ranch house, even building a proper garden. More fool him for believing a woman would choose this hard life willingly. "She carries documents to Denver," Zhang Wei explained. "Records that prove Chinese laborers built most of the Western Railroad. 12,000 men work for Central Pacific, 80% of the workforce. Yet when they took the photograph at Promontory Point in '69, not a single Chinese face was included." "The gold?" Isaiah asked. "Payment owed to families of workers who died," Mei Lin said in halting English, surprising both men. "Many die, no payment." "The marriage arrangement was protection," Zhang Wei continued. "A Chinese woman traveling alone faces many dangers, but a bride meeting her husband is usually left alone." Understanding dawned on Wyatt as he glanced at the bleeding Blackwell. "Until she met someone corrupt enough to not care," Zhang Wei nodded grimly. "This man attacked my sister on the stagecoach yesterday. Tried to take what he thought was only gold." "What happens to him?" Wyatt asked, holstering his Colt at last. "Federal judge in Cheyenne," Zhang Wei replied, "where my sister's documents will also be presented." Blackwell spat blood onto the floorboards. "Nobody will believe a Chinaman over a white man." "They will when this white man testifies," Wyatt said firmly, "and when they match that knife you're carrying to the wound on her side." As Zhang Wei's men secured the prisoners, Wyatt stepped outside. The late afternoon sun cast long shadows across the empty platform. Margaret's stagecoach was now 3 hours overdue. Part of him knew she wasn't coming. Perhaps she'd had second thoughts about marrying a man she'd never met. A widower with too much land and too many ghosts. "A man who chooses when not to shoot is rare in this territory," Zhang Wei said, joining him on the porch. Wyatt gave a humorless laugh. "I've killed enough men to know it solves fewer problems than you'd think." Mei Lin appeared beside her brother, her wound bandaged but her eyes clear. "Thank you," she said carefully, "for believing me when no reason to." Her broken English carried more sincerity than all the flowery letters Margaret Stevens had ever written him. "What happens now?" Wyatt asked. "You continue to Denver?" Mei Lin and her brother exchanged a look filled with unspoken communication. She spoke to him in Chinese, and a rare smile crossed Zhang Wei's stern features. "My sister says plans can change when you find unexpected honor," he translated. "She wishes to rest here until her wound heals, if you will permit it." "You help when you think I wrong person," Mei Lin said, meeting Wyatt's gaze directly. "That tell who you are inside." "And what did it tell you?" Wyatt asked, something long dormant stirring in his chest. "That maybe I find right person in wrong place," she replied simply. Isaiah emerged from the store, a knowing smile on his weathered face. "Seems you got your mail order bride after all, Sullivan. Just not the one you ordered." As the sun began to set, Zhang Wei prepared to leave with his men and their prisoners. Before departing, he handed Wyatt Mei Lin's wooden box, now refilled with her coins and documents. My sister has chosen to trust you with something more valuable than gold, Nichonon Monon, he said. Few men have earned such trust from our family. Your sister will be safe here, Wyatt promised, the words feeling right in a way little had since his family died. After they departed, Wyatt and Mei Lin stood watching the dust settle on the horizon. For 5 years he'd lived with ghosts, his days an endless cycle of work and solitude, his nights a battle against memories. Sometimes, Wyatt said quietly, what shows up at your door isn't what you expected, but what you needed. Mei Lin studied his face, understanding more than the words alone. Your eyes, she said, touching her own. Sad long time. Wyatt nodded, unable to deny it. Lost my wife and son to diphtheria. 5 years back. Couldn't do a damn thing to save them. I lose husband, Shanghai, she replied, the shared grief creating a bridge between their worlds. Some pain, no need words. As they turned toward Thunderhead Ranch, Wyatt's eyes caught movement on a distant ridge. Riders watching. Your brother's prisoners have friends, he warned. Bounty hunters might come looking. You teach me shoot? Mei Lin asked, unafraid. A smile, the first genuine one in longer than he could remember, crossed Wyatt's weathered face. Yes, ma'am, that I can do. He unclipped the safety strap on his holster. But they'll have to deal with me first. Honor speaks same language, Mei Lin said with unexpected wisdom. No need translate. The Wyoming wind carried their voices away as they walked toward the ranch. Two wounded souls finding unexpected sanctuary in each other's strength. In the distance, the mail coach from Philadelphia crested the hill, 3 hours late and carrying a letter rather than a bride. Margaret Stevens's regrets and apologies. But by then, the ranch house was already dark, its occupants gone, the letter destined to remain unread on the empty platform. If you enjoyed this tale of honor and justice in the unforgiving West, watch our next video about the legendary gunfight at Broken Spoke, where one man stood against 7 to protect a town that had rejected him. Don't forget to subscribe and share your thoughts on what frontier stories you want to hear next.